I'm Janelle Ross, and today it's all about hip mobility, ankle range, and we're also going to get into the shoulders, get some release into the upper back. All you need is your yoga mat. And I just want to say there might be a few poses that could be a little challenging. Just remember the moment is temporary, and this is just to help you test yourself, but use your breath to get into that specific position. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And this is to check in where you're starting with your hips. So you can hold on to your ankles. And if you notice, if your knees are really high, you can bring your feet a little bit forward. I do want you to use your hands like I'm doing to sit on your sit bones, sit up nice and tall. I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit closer. And we're going to start with the knees a little bit higher and just little pulses just to see what's going on with the groin, the hip, the side glutes, and how it feels to just even be in this position. We'll check back at the very end to see if there's any difference or what the difference is. Keep pressing the soles of the feet together and lengthening your spine out of your pelvis. Okay, now I want you to keep pressing the feet together and just gently hold on to the ankles. You don't want to pull so that you're changing the foot or the knee. So you're just going to slowly hinge forward from the hip joint and just try and press the knees down a little bit. So you're not forcing anything, just think about the energy of using your side glutes to push the knees down. Lengthen your spine. You don't want to be rounded. I want you to think about keep lifting up and out. Stay with your breath and just let your body start to open up. But I want you to pay attention so that you're really getting the hips and the groin, the side glutes right now. And keep adding your weight a little bit more forward. It might be a little bit challenging, and it will also help because you're adding weight over your lower body. All right, now slowly come up and just hold on to the ankles and just pulse the knees up and down. And stay with your breath. And I'm going to invite you to always just pay attention to one side than the other to see if there's any imbalance or which is more open, which is tighter. And it's never a judgment. It's just, you're just observing your body. Okay, you can release that and come right into quadruped. So spread the fingers. Keep your knees underneath your hips, shoulders over the wrists. Curl the toes and just pull your chest forward and look up into cow. Release the toes, exhale, push and round into cat. Inhale, lift and look up into cow. And exhale, round into cat. And one more. Lift your chest, look up, and you're really arching your lower back. And now reverse. And round the whole spine, push straight arms, draw your chin to your chest into cat. And now slowly come to a neutral spine, and we're just going to take care of the wrists for a moment. So just start to circle your torso around the wrist. Really spread the fingers. This will also help balance it out because you are weight bearing in this position and in any other position where you're on your hands and knees or your hands and your feet like plank. And reverse the circle. Keep a flat back. Okay, now slowly become still and flip your left palm so that you're on the dorsal side. Spread the fingers and just shift back a tiny bit. And that could even be too much, but you're getting the back side of the wrist and the forearm to stretch. And this is great for any type of wrist movement, they can get very tight from all kinds of repetitive tasks. And just take your time. So it probably barely looks like I'm shifting back, so it's more of the weight that you feel shifting back. And then slowly shift forward to release and just gently place the palm down and then flip to do the other side. Spreading the fingers wide and shifting back. And maybe your dominant side is a little bit easier to stretch into, or maybe it's equally as tight. So just go with the flow and breathe into it. Remember, the moment is only temporary. Okay, now shift forward and release. Okay, now from this position, I'm actually gonna move back a little bit. Keep the protraction, so push your shoulders up toward the sky. And now take your right arm and lift it up, bicep next to the ear. Shift forward so your left shoulder is over your wrist, thumb up, and little circles. And make sure you're not arching your lower back. So we're gonna play with circles a lot for the joints today. And reverse the circles. Keep shifting forward, don't let that arm drop. And now become still, see if you can lift the arm a little bit higher, really work that shoulder and the upper back. Okay, now release. Okay, maybe you're feeling that. Let's do the other side. Lift the left arm, thumb up, shift forward, and little circles. And shifting forward is just gonna help you stay stacked. Reverse the circle. Keep shifting your weight forward, try not to shift back. And now become still and see if you can lift the arm higher, stay with your breath. And lower down. Okay, now I want you to really think about getting the upper back, but you're also gonna work your fingers. We're gonna play with like a puppy pose variation. So use your fingers, they're really pushing and spreading. Walk your knees back and slowly lower the chest to the floor and lift up. And you're just gonna keep doing that. And you might need to bring your arms a little bit wider. Stay with your breath. And just play with seeing how low you can get and give yourself time to get there. And you want to keep the energy of your butt going back. And now slowly lower the forehead down. Keep drawing your butt back. Stay with your breath and breathe. Really feel that stretch in the shoulders, the arm, the armpit, the triceps. A little bit of the biceps. And slowly lift up. Now place your palms flat, spread the fingers, bring your knees in and lift your knees into downward facing dog. You're just gonna start pedaling out the feet and really let the feet pivot to the side, the hips pivot. And you're pushing, so you're also getting a lat stretch when the hips go to the side. Getting some mobility in the ankle, the hip, a lot of the joints. And one more time. Okay, now become still. Inhale, the right leg up, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, the foot between the palm, lower the left knee down. And I want you to adjust for a moment so that the knees are 90. So front knee and back knee. That's going to be important so we can really get the hips. So draw the tailbone down and then start to draw your circle. And you can either keep the back toes curled or try with the foot plantar flexed. I think it just gives a little bit more stability as you do the circle. And reverse the circle. Try and make the circle as smooth and round as possible. That's part of the challenge, part of the hip mobility. Okay, now wiggle the right foot forward just a little bit. Arms down, inhale, circle up, shift forward into your ankle, and then shift back, straighten the leg, dorsiflex the foot, reach forward. We're gonna keep doing that. Circle the arms up, look up, shift back, reach forward, dorsiflex the foot. Circle up, sink forward, stretch that left quad, shift back, and getting into that ankle as you shift forward and shift back. Let's do one more. Circling, reaching up, shifting forward, circling down, reaching forward. So hopefully you're getting into those hamstrings as well. Frame the front foot, lift the left knee, step back into downward dog, and pivot the hips and feet again. Okay, now come back to center. Inhale the left leg up, bend the knee, open the hip, and exhale the foot down, forward and down, back knee down. And just give yourself a moment to adjust into the 90-90 so you can really focus on those hips. Draw the tailbone down a little bit and start to circle the hips. You're also playing with an element of balance. And this side, plantar flex works better. Try it yourself, see how it works. And also you're just playing with the ankle too. Reverse the circle. Really feel the smoothness of the circle. Okay, now become still. Wiggle the left foot forward, arms down, circle up, shift forward, look up. Circle down, shift back, dorsiflex the foot, reach forward. Circle up, reach up, and circle forward, shift back, circle up, look up, and shift back, reach forward, circle up, really get into that right quad, shift back, and now circle up, reach forward, lower the palms, lift the right knee, and step back. And again, pivot the hips and the feet side to side. Okay, now pay attention to your right and left because it can get a little complicated just when you're doing a movement. Okay, left leg up, bend the knee, and now start to draw circles with the hip, the thigh. Keep pushing, straight arms, and reverse the circle. Okay, now from this position, you're gonna pivot the knee out to the side, and then cross the ankle over the quad. Plantar flex, lower the right knee down. And adjust your palms so they're underneath the shoulder. And you do want the shin and the knee parallel to the front of the mat so you can get into the side glute. Okay, protract, push straight arms and start to circle the hips, circling around, and then reverse the circle. And just see how smooth that circle can be to really get into the hip joint. Okay, now we're gonna do a little bit of a challenge. Just stay with your breath. It's gonna be very awkward for a moment. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, right leg through and open up into like a gate position. Okay, and now you're just gonna keep the hips open, draw the tailbone down, arms wide, and now take the right palm and place it behind, left thumb down, and you're just gonna try and reach for the fingers. They may touch, they may not. You can also hold on to the fabric in between. Hug the elbows inward, draw the tailbone down, breathe into that tricep, chest, and back stretch, and then you're gonna switch the arms, and just notice the difference, just checking in. Keep drawing the tailbone down so you stay in this open hip position. Good, you're also getting a little quad stretch on the bend, on the kneeling leg. Notice if the elbows start to change. Okay, now open back up. I want you to really get into that right ankle. Shift forward and shift back. Make sure you don't break at the hip. I want you to keep that tailbone down. Shift forward and back. Shift forward and back. And one more. Shift forward and back. Place the palms down and move back a little bit. And turn the right big toe in, and you want to line up the knee and the foot. So turn it in. And keep the palms underneath the shoulders. Shift back and forward. Shift back and forward. And one more, shift back and forward. Now, actually, it's a type of dorsiflexion, but I want you to think more about pressing the arch and squeezing the legs toward each other. And you don't want to be leaning toward the bent leg. You want to actually lean this way toward the straight leg, which is going to be harder. but that's okay. You're meant to do hard things. Okay, so now press down with the arch of the foot. Make sure your bent knee is underneath your hip. And then press down and use your side glute and lift the leg about 5 inches. Try not to lean to the opposite side and lower down. And one more. And lift and lower. Okay, and now bend the right knee, pivot forward, and step back, downward facing dog. And from this position, go for some thoracic pulses. You can also bend the knees a little bit. And I'm just going to turn around so you can see the other side. Okay, now become still from the thoracic pulses. Right leg up, bend the knee, and start to circle. Feel that thigh bone moving in the hip joint, and reverse the circle. Keep pushing straight arms. And now pivot the knee out to the side and cross it, ankle over the left quad. Point the toe and lower the shin and the foot down. And make sure your knee isn't coming forward. You're doing the best to try and keep it parallel to the front of the mat. And again, go for those hip circles. Circling around. Feeling that opening now in the right glute. Notice how different it can be, or maybe it's opening up. And reverse the circles. Try and make that movement smooth, those circles smooth. Okay, now from this position, use your breath. Inhale the right arm up and big exhale, left foot forward, opening up. Okay, now from this, you're gonna take the left arm up, place the palm behind the head, and then right arm. And reach for the fingers, tailbone down, and hug in. And since we're starting on this side, how does it feel? Because we switched to the other side. So how does it feel trying to get the fingers in the upper back, the shoulders, your chest? Push the back of the head into the forearm, keep drawing the tailbone down, and switch arms. Elbow up, elbow down. Can you get the fingers when you switch? And you're just testing your shoulder opening and your mobility. Stay with your breath, keep drawing the tailbone down. Okay, open up, keep drawing the tailbone down and get into the ankle range. You should also feel it all the way up through the calf. Keep drawing the tailbone down as you shift forward and back. Okay, now shift back, again adjust, so you have just a little bit more mat space. And again, you want the knee over underneath the hip and then the big toe turned in. Line up the knee and the foot and curl the toes to shift back. You can try it plantar flex too. And shift back, shift forward, shift back, shift forward. One more, shift back, shift forward. Okay, now press the arch and really energetically pull the arch and the knee toward each other. Feel that engagement, and you're gonna lean toward the straight leg without compromising and try and lift the leg 5 inches and lower. And really work on precision with lowering. Don't just let the foot plop. And one more, and lift and lower. Slowly shift back, bend the knee, pivot toward the foot, lift the knee, step back, downward facing dog. Okay, now from here, spread the fingers, squeeze the arms toward each other, and lower into dolphin, and go for those thoracic pulses in dolphin. And you can have a little bend in the knees if you need it, if you're feeling still a little bit tender or tight in the hamstrings. Try not to let those elbows fall out to the side. And now press and lift at the same time. Lower the knees down. And sitting on your heels, roll out the shoulders. full circles. Circles are so good for the joints. And reverse the circle. Smooth and round. Okay, now release that and let's check in to where we started. So into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. And play with it. How does it feel immediately going into this position? Do you feel a little bit more open or do you feel a little less open? I want you to pay attention so that you can go just a little bit deeper. So maybe bring the feet in a little bit more. And then we'll start with the hip hinge first. So gently hold on to the ankles and start to hinge forward. And just use your side glutes to try and get those knees down a little bit more. Move my hands out of the way. So you're really energetically pushing those thighs, those knees down without compromising. That's a key, is you don't want to compromise another part of the body to open the specific part you're working on. Keep lengthening your spine out of your hip. See if you can hinge forward a little bit more. And now slowly draw the torso upright and just pause for a moment. Notice what happened. Did your knees come right up or did they stay a little bit lower than you thought they might? Hold on to the ankles and just pulse the knees up and down. Keep connection with your breath so that you're opening up even though we're starting to just completely cool down. And how does this position, even just sitting in this position, how does it feel from the beginning and where we started? So we started with this and we finished with this position. Okay, and now release, and let's just take a moment to stretch out the legs, keep the kneecaps up, and just pulse the legs up and down. Just really give them a shake. Okay, and release. Okay, so that was it for today. I hope you got some benefit and some opening and release and all those key parts. Hip mobility, opening up the shoulders a little bit more in your ankle range. And remember that I am here for you every week. Every Thursday is to help you with mobility, flexibility, and strength so that you can feel and move better right now and into later years. Don't forget to comment. I'd love to hear from you, especially what you want to work on. Comment, like, and share, and I will see you next week. I'm Janelle DuRoss, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much.